What's up, guys? It's Crash, and today I wanted to talk about DMZ, and I've already covered on this channel a lot of the things that could potentially or allegedly be coming to the game based on mobile alpha leaks. We've talked about some of the data streams in there, a lot about the missions, rewards, and things like that in the game mode. That video will be linked in the description if you want to check that out, because DMZ is still a really big mystery. And those of you who have been following my channel since, kind of the more Battlefield centered days, we had the same level of excitement, but also the same alarmingly low information about Hazard Zone with Battlefield 2042. We all know how that turned out. So in today's video, not as much news, but I just kind of wanted to talk about my thoughts on DMZ, some of the apprehension that I have that could be stemming from Hazard Zone, but as well as how other extraction type game modes are doing, and also hear from you guys down below in the comments. How are you guys feeling about DMZ? Do you think that Activision is just keeping it a mystery to build that excitement, or do you think there could really be issues and they're riding the hype train of DMZ as a mystery for sales and it's going to be a lackluster game mode like I'm a little bit worried about happening? So yeah, we're just going to be more of a discussion video today. Thank you guys so much for joining. Let's get into it. So although a lot of this stems from a little bit of the PTSD for what happened with Hazard Zone and Battlefield 2042, extraction type game modes overall in general, now that they've been out for a while, a lot of people have called them the next battle royale, right? That there's going to be the next big thing. Every game's going to have an extraction royale or an extraction type game mode like Tarkov like mode. You hear that thrown around everywhere all the time. And I just don't know if that's the case. I feel like the rise in popularity of BRs was a little bit different when PUBG exploded on the scene as the first mainstream one. I know there were ones before that, but as the first big giant mainstream game for battle royale that took over everything, and other things like Fortnite and Warzone and all these other game modes came from that, Apex Legends, it was absolutely massive. And I don't think games like Tarkov or the Psycho Frontier have reached that just insane amount of success and overall just buzz that PUBG had back in the day. So I think it's a little bit different. And one of the things I've realized kind of on my own when playing Escape from Tarkov is, after a while, extraction type game modes can get really boring. I've experienced it a little bit with Tarkov. That game has so much depth, has some really cool mechanics. The gun customization is off the chart. It has a lot of quests and stuff like that. However, if we look at, we don't really have player numbers for that game that we can look at, but we can look at Google Trends. And if I put this up on the screen, you guys can see when the game wipes and everything starts over, it gets a really big jump in popularity. Then as people start to play and do the same quests again, the same challenges on the same maps, pretty soon you start to run up against really hard quests or ones that aren't very fun. And it's like, why am I going back into Tarkov? I've escaped from Tarkov. Why do I want to go back into it? And you can see that drops off pretty sharply after a wipe. And it's kind of been that way for a while. I didn't exactly understand it because I thought Tarkov was super cool. Having only played a couple wipes, this wipe, that fatigue has set in for me a little bit. I'm starting to load into raids, not wanting to do challenges that I did last wipe already that weren't very fun. And at the end of the day, you're like, why am I going back into Tarkov just to run around and then extract again? That replayability is something that I think extraction type game modes could inherently struggle with. The Psycho Frontier is another one that a lot of people thought was going to blow up to massive success. Now, it has been a success. By any stretch of the imagination, you cannot call this game a failure. However, it being like a Tarkov light mode, people thought could take all of the bad, annoying things out of Tarkov, and it could just absolutely explode and introduce a bunch of people, new players to that type of game mode. It suffers from the same thing. When there's new content, there's a big hike in players, and then it slowly drops down. And if you look at games like Warzone, they are a lot of times kind of flat. Granted, they're a lot higher, but they don't see the huge things every season, the huge drops. It's kind of more steady with quite a bit of replayability. There's still that competitive nature. Like if you win in a battle royale, you get, that dopamine hit and you actually won. So I worry about what they're going to do with DMZ to keep it replayable, how they're going to keep people. And it's not just going to turn into, Plunder from Warzone 1. So as you know, Plunder is a mode alongside of that. It's kind of just people drop in, you can warm up, you can level up guns, but there's just not a lot to it. DMZ is coming alongside Warzone 2 in November 16, and I hope there's more there. Call of Duty has said they've been working on it for a long time. Insider rumors have said they've been working on it for several years. So I just hope that depth and replayability is there, but I worry because even a game as deep as Escape from Tarkov suffers from extraction royale fatigue towards, you know, after content has been out for a while, after a wipe is going on for a while. There just isn't that incentive to play. So what can Call of Duty do? I don't like to talk about things that I'm worried about and then not offer any solutions. I think they have to do everything in their power to keep DMZ playable. I'm worried about it. We'll see how it plays out. I think I've stressed that to you guys enough. But what I think they need to do is attack it from every angle. I hope every season brings new story type game modes. We know from those videos that I've done in the past that there's still going to be missions surrounding Al-Qatala. Some of the things we saw in the campaign that many of you have played, those are going to continue. They need to keep deep, dynamic challenges and storylines. One of the things with Tarkov that gets a little bit annoying and a little bit predictable when you go into your third or fourth wipe and you're doing those same challenges and everybody's working on the same challenges at the same time. You're meeting people on the map that are trying to do the same thing as you. It's a little bit weird. So I hope the challenges can be dynamic. Everybody's working on something different. I hope the servers are persistent so they don't get predictable like Escape from Tarkov does. A lot of really good players in Tarkov know where the spawns are, know where people are headed, and cut people off in the map, and it becomes every raid start to finish becomes a lot more predictable. I hope it's more like the cycle where there's persistent servers that keep running in, people dynamically come into the match and extract on different places. I hope there's not set extractions just to keep the mystery and the replayability there so things don't get predictable and monotonous. I think there needs to be, hopefully, there's a lot of really cool cosmetics that can only be earned in DMZ. I know a lot of the completionist type of folks would love to go after those. Also, if there's something that's incredibly hard to earn that you can show off in multiplayer, I think that would add a lot of stake in the game and a reason to go after some stuff. They need to make the economy mean something. Now, we know that there's probably going to be some of the things from the campaign in the game that's really gonna help out. I thought the crafting missions in the campaign were really cool. As soon as I played those, I thought instantly, this is gonna be in DMZ, holy crap. The crafting was really cool. In Tarkov, the crafting is in the hideout. There's a few games like Deadside where you can craft in the game while you're there, but being able to craft stuff within a raid could be really cool and add a lot to the replayability. I could see missions maybe where you have to go somewhere and collect things, craft a certain tool, get across the map, maybe open a box with a special key or something you crafted and extract with the loot inside. I think more dynamic things like that with people working on different ones, spawning in at the maps at different times would be really cool. Maybe chasing some really hard to get cosmetics or some really hard to get rewards, keeping those missions dynamic and changing, especially as maybe, hopefully they have a long story plan potentially, what's going to come along with the seasons, different things are going to be happening to the map and subtle changes and things like that. I think they need to do all this stuff to keep it replayable. We also saw kind of in the campaign how potentially the backpack system is going to work. It seemed pretty straightforward. I don't know how the trade-offs are going to be. And then we also saw the assault and like the support like medic and the recon type packs that you'll be able to get and level up. So leveling those up will give a little bit of progression. And I don't know if they're going to do resets every season or something significant needs to happen to DMZ every season. Potentially, it needs to be something like these really insane cool cosmetics that are hard to get are only available for this season, and then next season it resets those. There's a new set of cosmetics that you have to change for certain operators or certain gun skins or something that you have to chase to get those done in the DMZ mode. Beyond that, I can't think of a lot to keep it interesting other than big time rewards for completing challenges and getting people to move around the map. And essentially it all comes down to, in my opinion, having a reason to drop in to the Al Mazrah map, because like I've said before, the last couple times I've sat down with my friends to play Tarkov, it's like, where do you want to go? What map? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. I'm kind of done with challenges. Okay, do you just want to load up shotguns and run around naked and try to kill a PMC and take his stuff? Sure, okay. So it takes us a lot longer to realize exactly what we're gonna do and play the game. If you have a dynamic set of challenges, of missions that fit along with the story, I think that's gonna be the best case scenario. Tonight, I wanna work on this, guys. We're gonna go in here, drop in here, and then the next time we'll go in and we'll do your challenge and your quest, and I have this stuff set up and make sure there is some stake. I don't want it to be where everybody, they have to do something with the weapons too, where everybody's not using the same meta stuff. Weapons need to be hard to come by, and it needs to feel really shitty when you die and you lose stuff. So that's how it keeps that little bit of adrenaline going and make people want to come back for more. Let me know what you guys think, if you're a little bit worried about the replayability in DMZ and extraction modes in general and your experience with them, and I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you watch this far and enjoy FPS style content, podcasts, guides, and things like that, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.